So now we're ready to animate. So once again, I'm in my Robin composition. There's no layers here, so I'm going to go up to my shapes. I'm going to select a rectangle tool. I'm going to draw a box. I'm going to hit shift so I can actually create a square. I'm going to click Y to get my anchor point tool. Make sure my layer is actually selected, like so. Drag my anchor point up into the center, make sure snapping's on so it snaps there. Rename a layer, hit enter, type in box. And then just going to toggle that down there, as you can see. Now I'm just going to align it very quickly, so I'm going to go to window, make sure align is open, window, align is open, and as you can see here, make sure align to the middle, align horizontally, and align vertically. So now it's bang on in the center of my composition. We learned in the last video about keyboard shortcuts, so let's go through them again. Obviously P is position, and it gets up this thing here. And we get S for scale, and if we get R for rotation, and if we get T for transparency, or sorry, opacity, T for transparency gets up the opacity. So they're interchangeable. Now we're going to animate these over time. As you can see, this is my timeline. So we've got composition, this has got a project with our compositions, and within our composition we have layers, and within our layers we also have a timeline. So as you can see, from 0 to 6 seconds. So I'm going to change the opacity over time. At the moment it's at 100%. And the way we create the first keyframe is by clicking on here. So I'm just going to click on this stopwatch here. Okay, so I'm saying at this point in time I want my box to be at 100% opacity. Okay, and then I'm going to go down my timeline, 12 frames, and then we've gone up to 1 second. Why is that 12? Well, if we go into our composition settings very quickly, we've got 24 frames per second. So half a second would be 12 frames, and then all the way up to 1 second would be 24 frames. So now we've got our opacity there at 100%. So I can either click on it and go down. Actually, I want my opacity to go down to 50 frames. And then if I hit enter, and look, so I created the first one by clicking on the stopwatch, and the second one, all I had to do was hit enter, and it created, change this this value here, and it created the second one for me. Now, an error that I see students do all the time is they click on this. Now look at this, look. If I click on this stopwatch for a second time saying like I'm happy with that, I want to create another keyframe, it wipes all of my keyframes. So Command Z or Control Z to go back in time to undo, or you can do it here, edit, undo. As you can see here, so it's created the second timeline as soon as I do the value. So let's go up to 2 seconds. So let's scrub across this time. Let's go back up to 100%. Oh, 99. Let's go back up to 100. This is why I click and type in the actual amount and then hit enter. And as you can see, it's created that second keyframe for me. I did not have to click on this since the first time. So now, if I go to the start of my timeline, I'm dragging that back and hit spacebar. Goes down and then back up again. It's very subtle there. So let's change this a bit again. So I can zoom in on my timeline to make sure that I've got it. So I click in, click, click. And now look, I'm definitely selected that one. So I select that one. Can you see how everything's blue that I can change? And so now I've selected that one. I can go, actually, let's go down, right down to 0. Hit enter. Let's zoom out on my timeline down here. Zoom in and zoom out. So I'll zoom out. Go back to the start of my timeline. And then if I hit spacebar again, goes to nothing and then comes back up. And as you can see, it scrubs all the way through to the 6 seconds. Down and then up. Perfect.